Some really big news actually when it comes to the Note 20, some different information that we've been getting so far. Actually, this is really big news for Android in general and for the smartphone industry in the second half of this year. So if you've been following the news and leaks about the Note 20 series, you'll know that a while back now we got some Geekbench results that showed a possible Note 20 device using a different and more powerful chipset, and most leakers assumed that this was actually the Note 20 using a as yet unreleased Snapdragon 865 Plus. So as you know, last year, Qualcomm actually released two flagship chipsets. It released the Snapdragon 855 earlier on in the year for the first half flagships. And in the second half of the year, it released an 855 Plus, which was an overclocked version, a slightly higher powered version of the 855. The reason why Qualcomm did this is because they had a lot of demand from customers like Xiaomi and the BBK family of brands for a slightly higher powered chipset that they could use in their new phones to give them some sort of advantage or selling point over the flagships that were released earlier on in the year. In the Note 10 series though, Samsung used the Snapdragon 855, which is the same as it used in the S10 series. But with the leaked benchmarks we got earlier, we assumed that Samsung were actually jumping on board with the Plus version of the chipset, jumping on the bandwagon and giving us just a slightly more powerful phone, more powerful than the S series phones with a better processor, at least in the Snapdragon markets. Well, that may have been the plan, but according to some news out of China, actually from a different manufacturer, it looks like the 865 isn't being used in any phones and actually isn't coming at all this year. This is big news for the Note 20 series and also means those benchmarks were somehow wrong or fake, but also big news for all phone manufacturers. According to the head of marketing at Chinese smartphone company Meizu, there is no Snapdragon 865 Plus this year being manufactured by Qualcomm. He was quite unequivocal in the way he said it. Here's his post. There's no Snapdragon 865 Plus, which means a slew of smartphones coming in the second half of the year won't have different chipsets. No performance improvements in second half flagship phones this year. The Note 20 series will not be overtaken by any phones in the second half of the year that use the Plus chipset. The Note 20 phone itself not using any Plus chipset in Snapdragon markets. And so either way, if you're looking or waiting for that device, maybe hoping it will get some bumped up chipsets, it looks like this isn't going to be happening this year. Why is this happening? Well, we can only assume that market conditions and demand is just very, very low for this type of chipset, coupled with the Snapdragon 865 just being really expensive anyway, and maybe manufacturers are opting for some slightly cheaper devices rather than adding cost on to their second half flagships. At the start of the year, there were many reputable leakers saying that Qualcomm were definitely planning a Snapdragon 865 Plus. It was coming, there were plans for it, but now it looks like it has been scrapped. As for the Note 20, it looks like we can assume a Snapdragon 865 and the same Exynos chipsets that we're getting in the S20 series. Very similar setups all around, just differences in the design and some other components differences. So let's wait for more information and confirmation on this. It would be very unlikely that the head of marketing for a pretty big manufacturer that is a partner of Qualcomm to come out and say this and be completely wrong. So we have to trust that information. And it is definitely an important factor if you are weighing up buying a phone right now or maybe waiting towards the end of the year. Subscribe for all the latest tech news and videos. That's it for now, but I'll see you in the next one.